God created us with a unique purpose. Just as a car is designed to run on gasoline, we were made to depend on Him. As C.S. Lewis states in Mere Christianity, God is the fuel of our souls. Seeking happiness and peace apart from Him is futile, for these things only exist in Him. He is the foundation of our true joy. In the most difficult moments, when our strength fails, it is essential to remember that God is with us. In Matthew 11 verse 28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Even when the burden seems unbearable and the light feels distant, God knows our pain and hears our cries. He has a perfect plan for our lives. As stated in Lamentations 3 verses 25 to 26, "The Lord is good to those whose hope is in Him, to the one who seeks Him." Lewis also emphasizes that depending on God is a daily practice. We must continually trust that waiting is part of His divine plan. Patience is challenging but essential. In Isaiah 46 verse 10, God declares, "My purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please." His sovereignty assures us that He is in control, even in times of apparent silence. Waiting can be difficult, especially when we pray for a job, emotional healing, restored relationships, or other blessings. However, in Jeremiah 33 verse 3, we are invited to call upon God with the promise that He will answer and reveal wonderful things. Even when God seems silent, He is working. We must trust in His timing, which is always perfect. Why does God seem silent in times of waiting? The story of Joseph in Genesis teaches us that God's silence does not mean His absence. Joseph faced betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment, but in every stage, God was at work. As Joseph declared in Genesis 50 verse 20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Like Joseph, we may feel trapped, waiting for deliverance, but we must trust that God is operating even when we cannot see it. The first principle of waiting is this: God's delays are not denials. As C.S. Lewis wrote in Mere Christianity, God never makes us wait unless it is for our good. Waiting can cause anxiety, especially in a society that values instant results. However, when we try to take control, things can become complicated. As Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 instructs, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." The story of Lazarus in John 11 reinforces that God's delays have a purpose. When Jesus delayed His arrival, it seemed like He had failed. However, the delay led to a miracle, the resurrection of Lazarus. This showed that God's plans go beyond what we can imagine. Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." While we wait, doubt may arise, leading us to question God or even consider giving up. But we must resist, maintaining trust in God's perfect timing. Remember, He is working even when we do not see it. His silence is an invitation to trust and rest in His sovereignty. Do not abandon your faith. God is always working for the good of those who love Him. His plans exceed our understanding. He sees the bigger picture and knows what is best for us. When we face delays, we must trust in His wisdom and perfect timing. These moments are not rejections, but opportunities to strengthen our faith and witness His power in our lives. The second principle is that patience is a virtue. As C.S. Lewis reflects in Mere Christianity, the interruptions we face are often the essence of real life as God gives it to us. Even when it seems that God is delaying His answers, we must remember that this may be preparation for something extraordinary. Jesus delaying His visit showed that divine delays often result in miracles that reveal His glory. In a world that values speed and instant gratification, patience may seem forgotten. However, it is more than just waiting. It is persevering with faith and hope despite uncertainties. As James 5 verses 7 to 8 teaches, We should be like the farmer who patiently waits for the harvest. Patience shapes us. As mentioned in Romans 5 verses 3 to 4, suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character. And character, hope. Though challenging, patience helps us trust God's timing. Trying to rush His plans can lead to frustration, but waiting with faith prepares us for future blessings. As Romans 8 verse 28 states, God works in all things for the good of those who love Him. The waiting period is a time of growth and refinement, not of waste. The third principle calls us to have faith in God's impeccable timing. He is always working for our good. We must cultivate patience and trust, knowing that His promises will be fulfilled at the right moment. Patience is developed during waiting periods when, even though we do not perceive visible changes, significant transformations occur internally. This time strengthens our faith, shapes our character, and prepares us for God's purposes. It is important to remember that the longer the wait, the greater the blessings God may have reserved for us. He acts according to His perfect wisdom and at the right time. Many times, we want quick answers, but the scriptures show that God's timing is a period of preparation. The story of Abraham and Sarah in Genesis 21 teaches us this. Although they waited nearly 100 years for God's promise, they eventually witnessed Isaac's birth, demonstrating that God's promises are always fulfilled at the right moment. During our wait, we may feel restless, anxious, or even doubtful. However, we must trust that God uses these moments to refine us and prepare us for His blessings. As Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 states, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." C.S. Lewis, in the Screwtape Letters, highlights that often our unmet expectations lead to frustration. However, it is crucial to trust that God owes us nothing, yet loves us perfectly. Resting in God's timing helps us find peace and frees us from the bitterness that comes from unfulfilled expectations. While we wait, we must adopt an attitude of gratitude, praise, and worship. This reflects our trust in God's sovereignty, goodness, and love. Even in difficult times, when answers seem distant, we must persist in our faith, knowing that God fulfills His promises flawlessly and at the perfect time. Tranquility in God's timing comes from accepting His sovereignty and letting go of our desire for control. Psalm 46 verse 10 invites us to be still and know that I am God, teaching us to pause amid life's chaos and acknowledge His supreme authority. In this stillness, we discover peace beyond understanding, which protects us from fear and doubt. Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7 reinforces that we should not be anxious, but present our requests to God with gratitude, allowing His peace to guard our hearts. This peace does not come from immediate answers, but from surrendering our anxieties to Him and trusting in His perfect control. As we wait, we must embrace the journey, deepening our relationship with God, recognizing that He is always working for our good. His timing is perfect, His plans are greater than ours, and He is always faithful. Trust Him and find peace in His divine purpose.